Hi, Rossco here. You probably haven't seen a lot of me in recent months playing on Xbox Live or on the WGL TV channel, and that is for some very good reasons. I've been heavily involved in gaming on the PC for the last few months. Firstly, Star Wars: The Old Republic. Big game, epic MMO, and a massive time drain. I hate to say, like a lot of other people, I've been caught up in this. I've been playing it non-stop, but in recent weeks, hit the level cap. There's not so much to do at the end game. Started to turn my attention to other areas. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, and the thing that I've been doing recently, Counterstrike Go Beta. You may have seen some of my earlier videos from Eurogamer, discussions at Eurogamer with Mel and Mana. You may have even seen some of my introduction videos. I've come back to this game now after 2 or 3 months off, and they've made some big improvements to this game. So I'd like to take you through some of those improvements and show you what the game has to offer. This game is turning out to be a fantastic PC game, and I have no doubt that it is going to be a big hit as well on the Xbox, so stay tuned for that. The third point is something that probably won't interest console gamers as much, but as a rounded gamer and someone that plays on PC as often as I play on Xbox, I've been tuned into the new Microsoft Flight, the new free-to-play flight simulator from Microsoft that came out earlier this week. I've played a lot of flight simulators from Microsoft before, and I have to say I really like this. It has its issues, it has its problems. It is by no means the best game or the best flight sim I've ever played, but it's free to play. I'd like to show you some of the screen captures from that I have, and also to talk you through my thoughts on this game. The fourth and probably the most important reason that you haven't seen me on Xbox Live recently or on the WGL TV channel talking about Call of Duty is that any Muppet can get a M.O.A.B. You know what I mean? Well, let's start off with Counterstrike Go Beta. A game that I initially was really excited to get my hands on. Me, Mana, Mel, all given beta passes at the Eurogamer, and we got on pretty much as soon as the game was available for us to play, and we were all very impressed with the game at the outset. Great graphics, brilliant beta, but was just lacking that punch that we come to expect from the previous iterations of the game. For those of you that aren't aware, there are plenty of videos on WGL TV about Counterstrike Go Beta, our initial impressions. Counterstrike Go expands on the original Counter-Strike team-based game, which was initially pioneered 12 years ago, and there's a lot of people playing on the WGL, including myself, Mana and Mel, who were all involved in the initial clan-based ladders in the UK and UK team-based version of Counter-Strike. So it's really nice to see it making a comeback, and it's especially nice to see it more recently. As I say, probably about 2 or 3 months ago was the last time I played this. I switched the game off. I haven't gone back to it for quite some time, and that's primarily because I've been playing Star Wars non-stop. But that's kind of hit a wall at the moment. So I thought I'd come back to this and see what's happened. And boy, they've made some really big improvements. First thing off, we've got improved feel, improved recoil, improved hit detection, all the things that weren't quite right when I was playing it 2 or 3 months ago. It didn't quite feel like Counter-Strike. That's changed. This feels as good as any of the originals ever did. Other nice improvements, we've got new maps. This is Train, DE Train, an original map on 1.6, an original map on CS Source, probably one of the most popular clan maps for the matches. There's a few tweaks to the map that have been made for this, a few new ledges. They've moved Bombsite A, as you can see from the image on the screen, but other than that, this is identical. This is the same map that we came to know and love in the original Counter-Strike. What else is new? Finally, they have got round to putting in some new weapons, and one of the big tweaks that they've done is they've reintroduced the buy armor option. For those of you that aren't aware, Counter-Strike is a money-based game. If you win rounds, if you make kills, you get money. That's all well and good, but if your team is losing quite badly and you're not getting the kills and you're not winning the rounds, then you don't have the money to buy the weapons you need and you can't be competitive. So what we tend to do, and it was a very tactical thing in the clan matches, was do what's called an eco round, where you wouldn't buy a weapon and you wouldn't buy armor, Kevlar and a helmet, which also cost money in the game. So by not doing that and doing what you could in the round, you're essentially throwing away one round in order to be able to compete on a level playing field in the round after. It was a known tactic if you lost the first pistol round, that you would normally eco the second round, and if you could do some damage then great, but if you didn't, you know, that's what that round was for. It's a throwaway round in order to get yourself back onto a level playing field and then hopefully turn the game around from that point onwards. So fantastic to see that they've put that in. It's implemented well. It uses the same wheel on the screen. Something else I'd like to talk about is the recent news or rumour that this game may not make it to the Xbox. I know that's kind of the point of this review, is to talk about this game as it will be coming to the Xbox, but there's a possibility now that it won't. There are rumours circulating on the internet that this cross-platform game that's coming out on PlayStation, that's coming out certainly on PC as well, will not be available on the Xbox because of Microsoft's almost hostile rules regarding developers and Xbox Live, and they don't seem willing to budge on this. Latest rumours are that this game, because it's being launched on PC and because it's also available on PlayStation, will not be available on the Xbox. There's no hard and fast announcement yet, so let's see what happens with that. It'd be a hell of a shame if it doesn't make it to Xbox, but I can tell you for sure that I'll be playing it on PC if that's the case. Anyway, the second game I'd like to talk to you about is Microsoft's new Microsoft Flight. It's free-to-play flight simulator. Microsoft flight simulators have been the cornerstone of PC gaming for as far back as I can remember. As far back as my first PC, and I remember playing on Microsoft Flight 97 or something ridiculous. I've always enjoyed turning it on, trying to fly a plane. I've always failed miserably. What you're about to see is me turning on the game and doing the first mission and flying the plane no problems. This is very different to Microsoft's initial flight simulators. The graphics are glorious. Everything we come to expect graphically is there from Microsoft. What you don't have is the flight realism that we've come to expect from Microsoft. And I know that I scoured the web briefly before doing this review to look at what other people's opinions were. And there's a real mixed bag. It's like Marmite. There are those that have played every flight simulator Microsoft have ever done and enjoy the challenge of realistic flight mechanics. This is not that. This is much more arcade. This is, do you know what? A 3-year-old could turn this on and fly these planes. That's how easy it is. So, for me, that's great because it's more of an arcade game. The game has got missions. It has experience points that you can unlock new things. It has waypoints. It's not the standard flight simulator that we've seen from Microsoft, and personally I think it's a step in the right direction. The original flight simulators were dying a death and were only ever used by the hardcore, and they, for whatever reason, don't like this. Personally, I think it's great. Think of this not as the Forza or the Gran Turismo of the flight simulation world. Think of this as the Test Drive Unlimited, the more arcadey feeling version of the game. Still great looking. It's funny that I mentioned Test Drive as well, because this game is based solely in Hawaii at the moment. And now I know that the beauty of online free-to-play games is that they can expand later, and I have no doubt that they will with this game. But at the moment you can only play in Hawaii, and that was exactly the same as the original Test Drive. Not a bad thing. It just means that they've put a hell of a lot more time and effort into accurately modelling Hawaii and making it really nice to look at and fly around in, rather than trying to do the whole globe and trying to do 70 or 80 planes at the outset. I do know that there are planes that are available to purchase with Microsoft points. Nothing great to shout home about, to be honest. A Mustang is probably the most powerful plane in there. For those of you who don't know, that's a World War II fighter. There's not really anything other than props. There's certainly no jets, there's certainly no jumbos. But
the beauty of this, again, is free to play. It's just been thrown out there, and I have no doubt that Microsoft are going to capitalise on this and start to release more interesting planes, scenarios, environments later on. You probably have to pay for them, maybe, who knows. We'll just wait and see how it goes. But one of the things I really do like about this, the plane that you start off flying in, very easy to use, very nice to use. It's called an Icon A5 amphibious vehicle. God knows how much money Icon paid to get this included as the start plane in this new free-to-play flight sim. Probably a hell of a lot. But one of the nice things about it is that the plane itself is designed to be easy to use, and that makes it much easier in the flight sim as a starting plane as well. The second plane now that you can see on the screen is a standard biplane. Again, nothing to shout home about. It stalls particularly easily. You can't really do too many tricks in it. As you can see from the screen, you can pick starting points, you can free fly around, you can pick weather conditions, you can pick night, dawn, dusk, or you can try and do the mission based activities and do the landings, or get someone to a cruise ship like we saw earlier on time for a wedding. So that's about all we got time for. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe. Thank you.
M.O.A.B. this.